Move on now, as the United States has dismissed the France-Saudi Arabia-sponsored conference at the United Nations on promoting a two-state solution as a publicity stunt. In a statement, the US State Department labelled the three-day event as unproductive and ill-timed, saying that it would make finding peace harder. The three-day conference seeks to explore time-bound steps toward implementing a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The conference comes amid growing concerns over starvation in Gaza, where aid blockades have led to a humanitarian crisis. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres told the gathering that the two-state solution is farther than ever before. Let's now listen in to the UN Secretary-General's comments at the conference. Well, while we wait for that, additionally, Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa said Hamas must disarm and relinquish control of Gaza to the Palestinian Authority, calling for an international force to help underwrite Palestinian statehood. Let's hopefully listen in to what they had to say at the conference. Well, it seems that we are having technical issues, but staying with the topic, at the meeting, France said that there is no alternative to a two-state solution. Saudi Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan said President Donald Trump could be a catalyst to end the war and advance the peace process. At the conference, Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi also called for a two-state solution.
What we all agreed on is that we've got to act and act quickly in accordance with our conviction that the two-state solution is the only path forward, and we've got to recognize Palestinian state, and we've got to take practical action to move in that direction.
Meanwhile, Israeli Ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, said the conference does not promote a solution. Well, joining us to discuss these developments, Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, a former Indian ambassador who's joining us live from New Delhi. Ambassador Sachdev, thank you for your time. We've heard a US response to these calls for a two-state solution. Of course, efforts ongoing, diplomatic efforts to potentially move towards a solution to this conflict. But the US, of course, allied with Israel, continuing their rhetoric. Do you think that the US stance will ever shift if there's more of a growing global, not just condemnation on the situation in Gaza, but also looking towards a future and a peaceful future that could be a two-state solution?
It's an important issue. Thank you, Joshua, for having me. But I would like to say that the United States had, in the previous incarnations, had supported a two-state solution. In fact, it was Camp David, where Israeli and Palestinian leadership met and the solutions were cobbled out. There were some technical issues that made Palestinians reject the solution in 2001, I think. But there's been shift under Trump, and United States today is solidly behind Israel, which has totally rejected the Palestinian statehood and concept of a two-state solution. So in the short to medium run, I don't see any progress in that direction.
Yes, and Ambassador Sachdev, of course, this comes amidst uncertainty in the Gaza enclave, but of course, further efforts being made from the Israeli side to facilitate aid, a pause in fighting for a certain amount of time, and an extension on the allowance of airdropped aid, though it is dangerous and can be limited. It does seem that there has been a shift from Israel. Do you think this is appeasement for the wider Western population that is condemning the potential humanitarian crisis in Gaza, or is this acknowledgement of the severity of the situation from Benjamin Netanyahu and his government?
I think the UN conference that you referred to earlier takes place against the backdrop of this growing threat of famine and people actually dying of hunger in Gaza. And Israel led United States supported Gaza Humanitarian group has not been able to deliver. In fact, a large number of Palestinians have died while waiting for food deliveries in the face of Israeli gunfire. So either way, it is a fairly bad situation. You die of hunger or you die of Israeli bullets. I think the world, including the West, is alarmed by the situation, and it has forced Israel to allow airdropping, allow multinational delivery of food, but it will, given that this restrictions on food supplies have continued for past few months, it'll take its own time to ameliorate the situation. And West's concern is also symptomatic of the situation, as well as the alarm and the opprobrium in the Arab countries, in the Muslim countries, on which the West has many reliances, including that of oil and gas, so and the investments. So there is a tactical shift demanding Israel to relent, while Benjamin Netanyahu continues to deny that there is a famine. People are dying of hunger. He has conceded yesterday that the situation is very difficult.
Yes, Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, I apologise to interrupt, but we are